Hello everybody and welcome back to another Hof Bergmann Explained video. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the major things added and updated to the 1.2 release of Hof Bergmann for Farming Simulator 25. The last time we took a look at this map in full release was with version 1.1.0.1, which was a hotfix update, which did add a few things like geese to the map. 1.2 has had a substantial upgrade over 1.1.0.1, and as such, a new save game is definitely going to be required. At a high level, what has been done? Well, there's several things that have changed here at the starting farm. We have a whole new area to the south that includes a couple different productions, including a large geese fattening area. We also have a small apple orchard where we can grow apples and produce a few goods from those apples. And in addition to that, we have a whole new area over here to the west that has been expanded as far as the map goes. And we have a whole new farm. We have several new productions and sell points in this area as well. A few other tweaks have been made across the entirety of the map, and we will have a segment dedicated to those here in a little bit. But first off, I want to talk about the changes that are made here at the starting farm, and then we'll expand to the new areas, and then we'll wrap the video up again, kind of talking about the new changes that have been made with respect to Hof Bergmann 1.1.0.1 up to 1.2. No new crops have been added to 1.2. We do still have clover, and with respect to clover and grass, well, they no longer have crop destruction associated with them, so you won't be penalized, if you will, by driving through your clover or grass fields after the first growth date. Since this comes up pretty much every time Hof Bergmann gets updated, let's jump to a segment where we talk about how to download and extract the map. Once you make it to lsfarming-mods.com, you will need to create an account if you don't already have an account. If you do have an account, you will need to log in before you'll be able to download the map update. We're going to go to downloads, and then we're going to find under maps, and we can just click on Hof Bergmann here. Right, this shows updated yesterday at 10:20 a.m., but this should take you to the 1.2 version. If it doesn't take you to 1.2, then go back here to maps and try to find the 1.2 listed. Once you're here, we're going to click on download. It's going to take us to three options. First option is going to be a pay per download. Don't do it. There's absolutely no reason to pay money to download this map. All you need is a little patience and a little time, and you can get it for absolutely nothing. We have fileshaven.net. Now, this location can be a little temperamental, especially if there are a large number of people trying to download the map. And as such, I would probably suggest avoiding fileshaven.net because, well, as you can see, it just doesn't load consistently or reliably. Instead, we're going to go to RapidGator, which tends to be a funny name because I think of it as being nothing close to rapid. But again, I'm not paying to download this. You don't have to pay to download this. You do have patience. You can wait a little bit, and it's going to be well worth it. We have 4 parts. We're going to click on each part. We're going to click on slow speed because, again, we are not paying to download this map. And once we click on slow speed, we're going to have a 30-second countdown. And once that countdown finishes, we're going to say, I'm not a robot. Are you a robot? Nope, I'm not a robot. We're going to hit send, and we're going to have the option to click here to download. We're going to click on that. It's going to take about an hour and a half. We are throttled, by the way, because we're doing this for free. So it's going to take about an hour and a half to download 600 megabytes. Once that download is done, we're going to come back here, a couple clicks, to grab part 2. And we're going to have to wait about 30 minutes. We can only download a file every 2 hours, okay? So once our 2-hour limit is up, we're going to click on part 2. We're going to start that download. But there's another catch. Again, don't pay. You don't need to. Just a little bit of patience is all you need. We can download 2 files per 24-hour period. Now that you're done ranting, come back tomorrow. Download part 3, download part 4, you're done. Or, should you happen to have access to a different internet provider, let's say a VPN that would put you out in the internet at some other different IP address. Should you have a cell phone with a decent data plan that you can actually download these files? Well, you could download parts 1 and 2 off of your PC. You could download parts 3 and 4 off your cell phone, not connected to your home Wi-Fi, by the way, and then plug your cell phone into your PC, copy those files over, and you've got everything in about a 4-hour period. Okay? I don't really think it's too much to ask for what I personally think is probably the most innovative map out there for Farming Simulator ever. We're talking Farm Sim 15, Farm Sim 17, 19, 22, and 25. There have been so many things that have been a part of this map first that have then made its way into other maps, sometimes without the attribution that it deserves. Once you have all 4 parts, we're going to put them into a folder. Typically your downloads folder is going to be good enough. And we're going to go to part 1. Now these are all .rar files. That is a form of file compression. Now Windows does not know how to handle a multi-part RAR file by itself. So if we go here, right click, and we just say extract all using the Windows built-in extract feature, well, you're going to find out we're going to get a problem. You're going to need to use one of 2 applications to be completely trouble-free in extracting these files. And that is going to be either WinRAR or 7-zip. Both are completely free. There's absolutely no need to pay for those either. We'll have links to those down in the description. Those are completely safe download links. So you can trust me. I've been 30 years in the IT industry. I know when to put in safe links. These are all safe links. At any rate, we're going to right click on this file, and my personal favorite is 7-zip. We're going to go to 7-zip, and we're going to extract to Hof Bergmann map AIO pack version 1.2.0.0. Now, if you are on Windows 11, you may not see this option. You may have to come down here and pick a option that basically says show all options or show more options, and then you'll get a menu that looks just like this. And once we do that, we're going to have our files extracted, lickety split. It's extracting parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time. It is aware of what a multi-part compressed file is, so you do not have to extract parts 2, 3, or 4. That will mess things up. So only extract part 1 with either WinRAR or 7-zip, and the result, you'll get a folder with your release notes, which are in German, but we will be updating those, and I'll put a link to those in the description for some English translated release notes. You have your mod folder. Highlight these 10 mods, which includes the map, slap them into your mods folder, and you're off to the races. If we come into our farmhouse, we've got a little bit of a Easter egg, if you will. Let's come into our kitchen. And over here, what are these? Lo and behold, on the table here, we've got what appear to be some plans. And we do have the ability to pick those plans up. We're going to hit R. And once we have done that, well, we now have the ability to come over here to our garage. And, well, we have the ability to convert our garage to a farm shop. Now, it is highly recommended that we hop into our new van and drive it out of the shop before we start any renovations. Because, well, as you're going to see here in a little bit, your truck's going to get stuck in the shop if you don't go and move it out. So here we have a before. Let's go ahead and jump to a segment I've already recorded after. Over the course of about a day, assuming you keep your production running efficiently, you're going to have yourselves now a farm shop where your garage used to be. Of course, you want to make sure that you take your van out of the garage before you go and complete construction, because of course, well, you're going to have a little bit of an issue getting it out of the farm shop after construction. We now got a big window. We have a door. Switched over here. Decoration. We've got display cases for all of our products. And you'll see over on the right, we do have quite a series of products that are accepted here at this farm shop. It's currently set up as production, but if we look at our production menu, you're going to see that we don't actually have a farm shop listed. Well, that's because the way this is set up, it's going to slowly sell these products over time and basically kind of emulate the idea of you equipping the shop with products, customers coming, buying them. So it's not going to be insta money. It's going to instead be money over time. That's not the only new thing here at the farm. We have the ability to, well, update and improve this parking lot area. So right now we've got this lot over here off to the side of the farm. It's kind of grass, it's gravel, it's dirt, it's mud. It's not even. It's, you know, maybe it could use a little bit of improvement. So we can come in here and we can level this out and pave it. All we gotta do is bring some goods. And again, over a very short period of time, we can do this actually over the course of a couple hours, our first day, where we're gonna drastically change how this entire area looks. And after you have supplied all of the ingredients, which really didn't take too much time at all, it can all be done in the first day. We have a nice paved parking lot over here for our machinery. Really cool how we can upgrade or enhance the farmyard just by delivering a few simple goods. Now, everything you need for the paving project as well as the farm shop project is going to be something that you can pick up over at the garden center, or you can pick up over at a new area that's on the town to the west. You may notice that the rabbit area has been reworked a little bit, and rabbits shouldn't be running around all over the farmyard at this point. So that looks nice. The chicken area here at the main farm also has been reworked a little bit, in that we no longer have to supply water to our chickens and geese. We now have kind of a little divot area there where water just naturally appears. So chicken and geese no longer require the water. Continue with our theme on animals a little bit. The pigs and sheep and goats, they've been split out. Pigs are still up here, but sheep and goats have been moved around a little bit. And we actually have a couple different areas here within the pigs. We have a rearing area. We actually have two of those here where we can have up to 5 piglets in each rearing area. And then we have the regular pigs. We have a pig food mixer that is now also up here at this upper section of the farm. If we come here to our productions, we should find our pig food. So it's going to require grain meal, potatoes, beets, or beetroot, and water. And then we're going to get pig food out as a result. We still have our butcher shop that, again, we can construct here in this area. Our hay dryer has been reworked a little bit in that straw is now consumed faster than wood chips, which makes wood chips a better alternative as a fuel source for our hay dryer. And again, we're going to put our fuel in here in order to dry our grass into hay. We have a total of 20 pigs in our area here, in addition to the 10 piglets. Making our way to the lower part of the farmyard. Not a lot has changed in this immediate area, but if we make our way into our cow facility, we will find that we do have some changes. First off, we have a water spigot up here. There's also a water spigot up by the main farm near the main gate. And we have a mini production over here. And this mini production is going to be for producing cow milk or calf milk. So that's going to require water and milk powder in order to get the calf milk. And then we have a little electric shuttle here to take our calf milk now over to our new calving area. We're going to be able to charge our electric shuttle right there. And we have a couple pallets for storing calf milk bottles. So our calves are no longer over here in this area. Instead, cows in our cow pasture will show up. Calves are over to the other side of the building. And we're going to need to provide them calf milk in order for them to basically be fed and eventually raise up into larger animals. So we have our calving area here, and each of these is going to hold one calf. We do have an area here for bale storage. Total of 250 small bales can be stored in there. And then over here off to the side from our cow area, we now have the sheep and goats. 56 sheep or goats can be provided into here with our water and food. And then just like the sheep and goat area in town, our milk and wool are going to be inside this little shed. Circling back to the additional water at the main farm, here we have this water source, again right by the main gate, over here by our farmhouse, our farm garage, or farm shop, depending on if we have converted that over. And let's just touch one more thing here related to the butcher, in that the butcher now will accept geese, as they did in 1.1.0.1, but there is now a geese meat output, so you're going to get more profit for your geese if you bring them here to the butcher. And as a byproduct, the butcher also is now going to make slaughterhouse waste. That slaughterhouse waste can be taken to an animal shelter in the new area as far as providing food for the animals in the animal shelter. And we will occasionally receive little jugs of manure here at the butcher as well. If we get a little bit of height, we're going to fly over to our small cow pasture that's over on the other side of the street. This area has been reworked a little bit with the 1.2 update, and that we now have a fence that's now enclosing the shed here, as opposed to the fence used to just go all the way across and then down. We've got bale storage, as you can see over here to the left. And you will have to buy this area in order to make use of it. But what we really are curious about is going to be the area to the south of the farm, the new area. Real quick, touching on our horse pasture here. Foals have been added to the horse pasture as young horses. So once we buy this area, we'll be able to not only buy horses, we'll be able to buy foals as well. course, we have our biogas plant. We have our pig rearing area. And then if we take this road by the pig rearing area, it's going to dump us into the new part of the map. Or should I say, one of the new parts of the map. If we continue to take this road, we're going to find the new geese fattening area. And then we can take this road around the bend to our new apple orchard. You will, of course, need to buy both of these before you'll be able to make use of them. Once you've owned the apple orchard, well, we're going to be able to collect apples from our apple trees after supplying water via a new tool that's going to be available here in the shop. We're going to have to go to Mods and DLCs, Hof Bergmann, and then we'll find the fillable apple basket. So with the fillable apple basket, we can come over here to each apple tree and fill the apple basket with apples. We're going to bring that apple basket then over here to the little shop where we can make applesauce or apple juice with these apples. Something else that has been added with respect to apples is a fillable apple box. And then if we make our way over to the geese fattening area, it's very, very similar to the pig area. And then we're going to find multiple buildings where we're going to be able to buy and raise geese in mass. 200 geese per structure. And we have 3 of those structures. Got some storage over here as well. And we're going to find, well, we have a butchery for our geese. So this is going to be specific for geese butchering. And just like the main butcher shop at the farm, this will produce the slaughterhouse waste, which we'll be able to take over to the animal shelter in the new part of the map off to the west. The rest of this area is kind of available for just general use. And I could see this area kind of being expanded in the future. We do have cold storage here as well, where we can store our geese meat before we go and sell them. So, pretty neat new area. And it doesn't need really to be said, but this new area also does include a few new fields. And then we have a water collection point also here in the new area. And this water collection point will collect natural rainwater as time progresses. We can come here and draw the rainwater out of this in order to use them at our various farms, at the apple orchard, for example, or we can use this as water storage, and we can bring water and place it here as well. Coming back up to the main road at the main farm, let's go ahead and swing into town. Something else that has been added to 1.2 is the vehicle shop has been expanded. So vehicles don't only appear here in front of this building, but as an overflow, there is a parking lot back here also where they can spawn. if we hang a right here at the village shop, or I guess I should say left at the village shop, and then hang a right before our animal dealer, we'll have a new road that's going to extend over to the new western portion of the map. And the first thing we're going to come to here at the western portion is a compost production. And then in behind the compost production is going to be an area where we can collect stone and sand. And we're going to need stone and sand for a few things, like our paving project. So we're going to find that here on the PDA. The compost production is farmland ID 71, and then our gravel pit is right here around the back, and we have our barge collecting that material from this lake, and you'll see that it will slowly spawn over time in these 3 pits. So one note about the gravel pit, which we just looked at, is if for any reason you do not own the main starting farm, you will not have access to the gravel pit. It will require ownership of the main farm in order to make use of that. Inside our composting facility, again, we need to buy the farmland before we can make use of it. We're going to find several unique things here. First thing we're going to find is a small production for producing pallets. So our pallet manufacturing, coming over here to our productions. You can see we're going to need to bring planks and wooden beams, and we're going to get empty pallets. We have fuel storage. And then also over here, we're going to find bunkers where we can make compost, or store compost. Here in the back, we have a large silo for compost storage. And this is interesting how this is set up. This will extract the compost from this area and move it over into a holding area on the other side of the wall. What can be made into compost? Well, any material that will deteriorate, or any organic mass. So we're talking about crops, we're talking about straw, hay, silage, grass, clover, we're talking about manure, we're talking about pretty much anything that will rot is going to be able to go into there and ultimately be made into compost. We also have our stone crusher, and the stone crusher is going to take stones and convert that to gravel, where we can use our stones from our fields, or we can use stones from the area in behind. Then we have our compost master. This is going to be able to then produce compost from that organic waste, and we're also going to byproduct of stones, which we can then take and run through there in order to get gravel. So our stones are going to pile here, and then our compost is going to pile there, and our stones are going to collect inside there. We're going to bring our compost over now to our pallet manufacturing, and we're going to put compost in here. We have the ability to make big bags of compost, and that's why our big bag maker is here as well. Inside our double doors, we have the business end of our BioPack Master. So basically our bagger and palletizer. This is going to take compost and empty pallets and make them into pallets of compost bags, which we have access to here, and they'll pile up and stack there. In the beta, it doesn't look like it is here now, but in the beta, we had the ability to convert this over from a new bagging facility to an old bagging facility. The side of this shed is going to be pallet storage, and we can come here and we can left click to turn on automatic storage, and you'll see the icon vanished. Well, that's because it moved over here. So now this is the input for storage. So as our pallets are made here, once they're complete, they'll move to this location. They'll then instantly be transported and stored, which is kind of handy. Or if we want to disable that, we come over here and we turn off automatic pallet storage, and now the trigger is moved to this location, such that we'll have to actually bring pallets from the other side of the wall over to here in order to store them. And we can hold a total of 90 pallets of compost bags here. And that is going to be our composting facility. Continuing into town, we make the next left. This is going to take us to the animal shelter. And the animal shelter is going to do a couple things. It's going to be a sell point for slaughter waste. We're going to be able to also then occasionally get manure from here. And we also have it as a sell point for bales. So we have, various dogs here. Maybe eventually we'll be able to rescue them, and it'll become our farm dog. Kind of an interesting concept. And we have cats back in Hof Bergmann, Farm Sim 22. Now we can't have cats at the farm yet, but maybe in a future update we'll have them as well. Now we can come down here to our animal shelter and rescue the cats and take them back to our farm so we can keep them rodent free. Right up the street from our animal shelter, we have a tailor, and the tailor is obviously going to accept your wool, your fabric, and everything, but the tailor also accepts goose feathers. So that's new with respect to the addition of geese. Further along the road, we have Farmer Andy's grocery store as a sell point. And then all the way at the end of this road, we're going to find another new sell point that is a part of the 1.2 update. And it is going to be a apple cider location. And this is going to be a general sell point, at least for now. No production here. Circling back, something else that has been added to the map, merely as a decoration right now, but in a winter update for Hof Bergmann, we're going to have our brewery. So the brewery is going to be located here once it does open up or get kind of renovated and cleaned up. So look for that in the 1.3, possibly winter update. Then we have the second farm that has been added to the map here in the western town. Come back over here to what I'm going to call the main entrance to this farm. And we're going to find that it's going to be farmland ID 64. And it's going to be $1,051,000 to buy. Once we purchase this farmland, we see we have cows, we have chickens, we have pigs here, as well as a sleep trigger and various other things that we would associate with a farm on Hof Bergmann. Our cow pasture is located over here to our right on this hillside. We're going to find a hayloft, just like the hayloft at the main starting farm. Water fill point, just like we have now at the main farm. And this new farm is going to hold 241 cows in this pasture. We have our spawn point for milk in jugs. And there you go. Bale storage. Fuel storage. Just some general storage buildings. We have our farmhouse, sleep and wardrobe triggers. More general machine storage, implement storage. We have our farm silo, so we're dump and fill pipe. Great spot for your bicycle or other small implements, maybe your motorbike. Here we have the pig area as well as some additional buildings. So we have our slurry point, and then we have our pig drop-off point. Total of 16 pigs here on our second farm. And just like we have found over at the new pig area on the main farm, got all the fun stuff going on here. Maybe at some point we'll have horses added here. This is basically the same building as over at the horse pasture. The chicken and goats, or chicken and ducks, I guess I should say, are located here. Once again, we have a little recess for our water, our food trough, our eggs, and everything are going to spawn inside of here, as well as manure. We go and provide straw. And then we have a nice little side shed, bales, or other implement storage. And that's going to be the new farm and basically the new western town and expansion that has been added here to Hof Bergmann 1.2 update. Now let's talk about some of the changes that have been made to Hof Bergmann with the 1.2 update to either improve things. Now, we've already talked about the van that has been added to the map with the 1.2 update. We'll come back here to our vehicle shop and the Hof Bergmann category under mods and DLCs. We'll see that we also have added a few other things. So we've talked about our fillable apple boxes and our apple basket. We have an expanded E-Mule 250E, so that returns from Farm Sim 22. It's a nice electric transport vehicle, and we can attach trailers to the back of this. So we have the good transport trailer, just for transporting pallets or goods. We have the geese transport wagon, that again we can use with the E-Mule. And we have a small animal trailer. And this can be, from what I understand in the notes, pulled or pushed. So pulled with the E-Mule or maybe pushed manually. And it's really intended for small animals or at the most one larger animal to be used with that. And then we have our Hof Bergmann transporter. We can get that in various configurations. BKT, Continental tires. We can add the box to it or not. and we can add various logos or none to the van. Another choice of colors. So a good way of also transporting those small palletized or crated goods. Notable changes or fixes to the map since the 1.1.01 update is that here at the fishing area, back on the old part of the map, it has been adjusted such that your caught fish won't miraculously find themselves uncaught by spawning off the dock and then ultimately being under the water. So if you are collecting and fishing, you have multiple crates of caught fish, they will no longer spawn in the water. We made our way across the northern part of the map over to our lime pit. It has been enhanced a bit. So as we demonstrated in a previous Hof Bergmann explained video, we can come in here and we can break up our limestone into lime, and then we can further process that. Once we have managed to completely break up all of the limestone here in this pit, lime will now continue to spawn. It just won't spawn in rock form. Similar to the compost big bag maker, we have the lime big bag maker over here. So we can now put lime in big bags, compost in big bags, and we can sell both of those at the Bawa and agricultural retailers. Lime big bags can also be sold at the garden center individually, as opposed to compost bags. They're not going to be available for sale there. Something else that has been done with respect to grass, clover, and straw is that the yields for grass, clover, and straw has been reduced a bit. When I was doing some gameplay with the previous versions of Hof Bergmann, I noticed that clover seemed to yield very, very well as compared to grass. Well, that yield's been nerfed a bit. I don't quite know how much it's been nerfed yet, but overall clover yield as well as grass yield has been again nerfed a bit from the previous release. Now the final thing I want to talk about that's been changed since the 1.1.01 update is that pigs have now changed from parallel consumption or food consumption to cereal eating. And what's that mean? Well, if we come here to our animals and we go to our pigs, parallel eating means that pigs will eat pig food, grains, soybeans, root crops, and or piglet feed all at the same time in an even rate. So basically you need to provide all of these grains, soybeans, and root crops, and then your pigs will be healthy and they'll consume all of those at the same time. They've now been switched over to cereal in that they will eat the best food first until it's completely gone. Then they will eat the second best food until it's completely gone, etc. So very similar to how, let's say, cows eat, where if you fed them exclusively grass, they would eat grass. If you then offer them silage, they would stop eating grass and eat silage until the silage is gone. Then they'd go back to eating grass. If you then later added TMR to your cows and you had silage and grass in there as well, they would stop eating silage. They would eat TMR until it was gone, then silage until it was gone, and then back down to grass and clover. So that is now how pigs eat as well. That is a general change from how pigs eat in the base game. So guys, that is it. That is a rundown of everything important, at least in my view, added to Hof Bergmann 1.2 update. I do look forward to the winter update when that does drop, because I will like to see the brewery added, and we can kind of get a little hint as to some other plans with respect to this map if we come over here and just take a look at the map boundary, where we have now kind of defined out some forest areas and some clearings as to maybe, just maybe, what might be in store for us in a future update. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to Hof Bergmann in general and with respect to the 1.2 update of Hof Bergmann. Until next time, happy farming.